Hello, friends. Hello, family. Coach John here. Just jumping on today to do a little bit of information sharing, just sharing the things that I'm, you know, most passionate about, self-healing, changing your life, losing weight, healing pain, overcoming sickness, illness, disease, overcoming old age, beating the old age. Like we've kind of accepted this idea that, once you get over 40, over 50, over 60, that the body is supposed to be in pain. That pain is a part of life. It's natural and normal. That sickness, illness, and disease is natural and normal part of life, that we have to watch out for germs, that germs and viruses are making us sick, that we need to inoculate ourselves with chemicals and drugs. We need to put chemicals and drugs into our body in order for us to be healthy and well, antibiotics, manage our health. It's these broken ideas and this broken understanding about health, this miseducation that's causing the sickness, illness, and disease that's running rampant in our world. We are in a global epidemic, and truly it's an epidemic of miseducation. And so I'm always jumping on to talk about what's going on and how we can make it better. That's my goal, is to try and make it better. How to make what's going on better. And I think the biggest thing we can do is kind of help people to understand something different. And that's why I do this, because I want people to understand something different than they currently are. I want people to understand that they can change their lives, that they have the power to change their lives. This is what I learned from my life. This is what I learned in my life. And this is why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, thinking and saying and talking about the things that I'm doing and saying every day, because this is what I learned. I learned from a life of bodybuilding, from a life of science, from a life of kinesiology, a life of psychology. That's what I studied at university. I learned from 30 years of being a coach. I learned from running my own personal training studio. That's what I do. I run fitness and wellness for people. So I've always been helping people with weight loss and pain and, nutrition and exercise and mindset and how to change their life and change their health. I've been doing that for myself for a lifetime since I was 13. I started with fitness and wellness, and by 19, I was already into the career. And that's been over 30 years that I've been helping people with this. I was in the Mr. Universe competition 27 years ago, but I tell you that I didn't really learn about health until I lost my health. I'll tell you, I've been a teacher from grade 4 to grade 8 physical education. I've taught nutrition. I've taught anatomy. I've taught motivation and success for a whole life. My mother was a teacher. Teaching is my nature. It's in my nature. It's how I am. It's who and what I am. This is just me being me. This is just me doing what I love and just sharing information that I learned from a life experience. I've been married for 20 years. I have 3, wonderful children and a gorgeous wife, a wonderful wife, a wife that has supported me. I'm grateful for her. I'm thankful for my wife and my children and my family and what I've learned from them. I tell you, I've learned so much about myself and about life and about loving myself in my life from my family, being in a family, understanding what it means to be in a family, and fulfilling my role of husband and fulfilling my role as of father and provider, and being a coach that provides for the family. My wife is also a coach along with me. We're both personal trainers. We work together. I tell you, when I hit 40, my life really fell apart. I lost my health. I was gaining weight. I was financially in the toilet. I was physically and mentally and emotionally broken. It was from a lifetime of miseducation. It was from a lifetime of misunderstanding. I got stuck in this bodybuilding lifestyle. I got stuck in this self-image of this big body. I was trying to build up this big body to kind of protect myself emotionally. And I got stuck in my size. I got stuck in the physical. I got stuck in money and drugs and chemicals of bodybuilding. I got stuck in overeating. I got stuck in bigorexia, like a problem with my understanding of myself and my body, my self-esteem. I was wrapped up in size. Like my value and my worth was how big I was. I needed to be bigger to be better. I wasn't good enough as I was. I was overeating and tearing my body apart in the gym. This was health, like tear your body apart and then eat protein, tear your body apart and eat protein. I did this for 30 years, from 13 until 40, you know, at least from 13 till 40, even say 40, just beyond 40, I stopped with this heavy weightlifting. I stopped with this heavy tearing of the body, and I stopped with this protein idea. I tell you, when I lost my health, I started to understand a different reality about health. When I actually lost my health and I had trouble like walking, I was limping because of the pain I had in my knee and my ankle, the troubles I was having with my Achilles, the trouble and pain I was having in my hips and my back, the pain I was having in my neck and my shoulders, the pain I was having in my body. I was gaining weight around the middle. My weight was going up. I was out of control with steroids and stimulants, caffeine and ephedrine. I was imbalanced with substance, imbalanced with food. I was losing the battle with my relationships. My relationship was declining with my wife and my children. I could see that there was something wrong, and I didn't understand why, because I knew that I was a champion at one point in my life, and I didn't know what had gone wrong with my life. And I really hit a low point when I hit 40, and I really cried out to myself, and I cried out to life, and I really kind of just like threw up my arms and said, you know, what's wrong with me in my life? And, you know, what do I need to change? How do I need to grow? How do I need to be better? Like, I want to be better. I want to understand what I'm doing wrong, what's gone wrong, and I want to correct it. And I want to do what I can to get over this self-image, self-esteem problem, this body shaming. Like, my calves weren't big enough, or my arms weren't big enough, or my body fat was too high. Like, I've had this body shaming, looking at myself for what was wrong with me. I was a critic of myself and others. I had to learn how to give love and kindness to myself, and this made me better at giving love and kindness to others. Like, it was a change of mind that changed my life, and this is why I'm always constantly talking about the mindset. I tell you, it was, there was, at least 12 major mindset shifts. I'm not going to talk about all of them today. I just really want to talk about one with you today. But I wanted to give you a little bit of background so you understand where I'm coming from. Like, understand that I did that protein thing until I had gotten myself sick, that I was gaining weight, having trouble with sleep. I was medicated for sleep, having trouble with acid reflux. I was medicated for acid reflux. I tried all the potions and pills from the natural path. I tried all the products and things, and I really was broken with pain and problem in every single aspect of my life, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, relationally, and stemming from my relationship with myself and my imbalance of my relationship with food and the way that I looked at myself and my body. Like, I had a problem with my self-image, my self-esteem, my self-worth, my self-value. I had to change my mind, and I needed some new understanding. Because I was a scientist, I took a scientific approach to it. Like, I knew that I was a champion, so I knew something must be wrong, and I was set out to find it. I really took another look at science But this time I came to science not from what they were telling me. I took my scientific approach to my life and I started again with science, and I really started to understand it. I started to look at thought. I started to look at ideas like Hippocrates, the origins of the allopathic, the medical community, the doctors and nurses. They recognize the Hippocratic oath. This is the oath of Hippocrates, and the words of Hippocrates are, let thy food be thy medicine. Like the body heals itself. Like these are the ideas of Hippocrates, but look at the hypocrisy of it. Like the medical community says they take the Hippocratic oath, but then they're not using the body to heal itself. They're using chemicals and drugs to heal the body. And this is what they're recommending. Antibacterial soaps, washing germs from the body, like removing germs and virus from the body. This is the thought process. Taking drugs and chemicals to make yourself ready to handle life. Like nothing in nature works this way. Like you don't put drugs and chemicals in nature to make it inoculated. Like to protect it from what? Like you can't protect the nature. Like understand that the human is natural and we are a part of nature. And for us to become natural again and return to our natural, I talk about natural balance. It's about understanding the laws of nature and getting into a line with them. Everything in nature is alkaline. This is talking about pH balance. It's understanding pH balance. It's understanding the role of thought and word. I started to look at success ideas like Anthony Robbins, Abraham Hicks. I was deeply devout into Christianity. I studied the Buddha. I studied Eastern and Western thought. And I want to tell you that what I learned from looking at both sides of the story, both sides of the coin, is that, creation, God, created earth. She reached out with two hands. And truly, she left some information in the East and some information in the West. And we really need to put the two sides of our globe together. We have to put the two sides of ourself together. We have to see the truth of reality, that there is two in every single one of us. And in order for us to become whole and healthy and well, we have to integrate the two sides of ourself, the mother and the father within us. We are both. We are two. In union, in love, self-love, we become one. The power is within. That we can connect to the healing power within the self, that the body knows the way to health. It's not the mind that knows the way. The mind has been programmed in a way that is blocking it from health. You see, the body has always healed itself. Can you imagine time when you broke a bone and you just put it in a cast and you leave it still for 6 or 8 weeks and the bone mends itself? Like all things here in nature mend themselves. All things in nature come back to balance. If you light a fire in nature, the trees will all burn down and then they will grow back stronger and better. If you pour chemicals into the water, chemicals and drugs on the nature, if you take the chemicals and drugs and clean them up and you stop putting them in, over time, the water and the nature will restore to natural balance. Like this is the nature, that everything in nature balances. And we need to see this. We need to see that the nature is a loving, altruistic nature, that it is supporting us, that with every breath we take, that we are taking the gift of support from the trees. And with every exhale, we are giving the nourishment, carbon dioxide, to the trees. That every breath we take is an interaction. It's all about relationship. It's all about love. It's all about kindness. And it's really getting into alignment with love and kindness for self and for others. It's really aligning ourselves with the laws of nature. I looked at Dr. Arnold Ehret. After I broke down at 40, I really cried out for guidance. I found mindset. I found success mindset. And I really started to see that the people that were rising in mindset, Anthony Robbins, Abraham Hicks, from what I could see, they were taking Eastern thought and they were wrapping it up and bundling it up and presenting it into a motivation or success package. And this is what I realized, that there are ideas in the East that we've got to understand. Right mind. We have to understand that right action, right thought, right word, right things, right foods create right results all of the time. That this is the law. We are getting what we're giving to our life. Once you start applying these ideas of the East and integrating them with the ideas of the West, or bringing the two sides of ourselves together, the masculine and the feminine, this is what has to come into balance. This is love. I found the ideas of Dr. Arnold Ehret. I read his book, and I want to tell you that, all of the ideas that kind of come before 1910, these are classic mind ideas. These are authentic ideas. Everything that kind of came after 1910 has got a little bit of a Rockefeller slant to it. I tell you that after 1910, somewhere around 1915, there was a big change in the Federal Reserve and the banking and the monetary fund. And at this time, truly governments were kind of bought, and education was bought, and the media was bought, and everything was kind of taken over and taken into control by the medical community, the pharmaceutical corporation, big food, big pharma, big meat and dairy, and the Fortune 500 has been running the science, and they've created like a one-sided science. It's a profit-driven science. It's a science of dollars and cents, if that makes sense. That the science that we hear and we see in the media, on the mainstream, the science that we're taught in school, and the science that everyone talks about, is holding us trapped because it is a one-sided science. And I tell you that there's nothing in nature that is one-sided like this. I found the ideas of Dr. Morris, Dr. Sebi, Professor Hilton Hotima, and I started to follow Elatom Elamine, who's a very modern day pranic leader. And I started to see that, there is an alternative way to fly. There's another way to be happy, healthy, and well. I looked at science again. I came back to science. With childlike eyes, and I started to inspect the science again. And I started at the beginning with the periodic table, and I looked at the, whether I think it's 137 elements that are there. These 137 elements: hydrogen, lithium, beryllium, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, potassium, magnesium. These elements, carbon, these are the elements that create life. These 137 elements, these are all the elements that exist, that we know about in the universe. Like, this is it. Everything in the universe comes from these elements. And if you really start to inspect and look at these elements, you'll start to see that every single element on the periodic table, every single element in the universe is really made up of two: a proton and an electron, a positive energy and a negative energy, sort of like a yin and a yang energy. And that there's also this neutral, this kind of balance in between the masculine and the feminine, or the positive and the negative. This is charged energy, like the electron energy, the proton energy. This is atomic energy. I want you to understand that this energy is the energy of life. This energy can never be created nor destroyed. It's created only by creation. It's created in creation. The creator creates this energy, and this is the real energy. The energy that we've been taught to strive for is this energy of calories, which really makes no difference, or makes no real true sense. Like, the energy of calories, the energy of food, the energy of macronutrients is what we're told where we get our energy from. I tell you, you can get energy from food, but I tell you that's a very messy energy. And when you eat your food and get all of your energy this way for 30, 40, 50 years, what ends up happening is you start to get a real pain in your body. And this is what I found. I started to get pain in my body from eating all those proteins and carbs and fats and vitamins and minerals and trying to get. I sort of had this mental that we get from living life, that health is something that we need to get. Like if we're out of health, if we're out of balance with our health, if we've lost our health, that we're missing something, like it's a vitamin or a mineral or an herb or something. Like I got to get something or eat more, or eat something different or eat something. I need to buy something or get something. It's like, this is a misunderstanding of health. It was like Arnold Ehret taught me this idea when I read his book, The Mucusless Diet. And you can kind of see all of these ideas kind of before 1910. If you start to look at classical information, things that were written and documented before 1910, if you look at the philosophers, Socrates, Hippocrates, if you start to look at the Greek philosophers, that the ideas of health and wellness and joy and happiness, they were discovered thousands of years ago, and they've just been hidden from us. They've just been hidden from the general population, that the general population has been fed like an education and that's been valued by the world. Like the only thing that's valuable is your education. Like you have to be like smarter. And it's like they teach you to be smarter by studying certain things and memorizing certain things. And I want to tell you that memorization is just one way of thinking, and that the human can think in other ways, and that there's, more to health than what the education system includes. Like when you study the educational system, the Western educational system, which is so valuable to life here, like everyone has to get it, you'll see that it doesn't really include emotions. It doesn't really include the emotional body. Like emotions are not really a part of it. Like energy is considered calories and food. Like you have to look to the East, and you have to look to the energy meridians, and you have to look to acupuncture to see that there is an emotional energy that exists that's been taught to us all on the globe, but it's been hidden from the West through the educational system, through the mind, through the thoughts in the mind, that this information has been considered woo-woo because it's emotional or spiritual or energetic. Like we should only value the things that are in the mind and the body, that's physical and real, tangible and measurable. But that because we can't measure love, and we can't measure godliness, and we can't measure greatness or power or emotional energy, that it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really have any value. I tell you, it's an untruth. It's an untruth. Like you're not honoring the emotional body. Like we're just told to kind of like suppress our negative emotions. And I tell you, by the time you hit 40 or 50, this emotional body starts to pile up inside of you and really start to slow you down. It's not old age. It's emotional distress. It's trauma. It's misunderstanding. It's miseducation. It's wrong ideas, and it's negative things. It's stinking thinking. It's negative thoughts and words about ourselves. It's limited beliefs. We've lost our belief in ourselves. The only belief we have is to go to the doctor or follow what the news is telling us. We can't think for ourselves and make decisions for ourselves and recognize that we have the power within us to be healthy and well, but we have to claim and take charge of that power. And we need to exercise that power within ourselves with our thoughts and our words and our actions on a daily basis for that power to grow. Like that power can be grown if we grow it, if we commit to a daily practice of honoring the two sides of ourself. So, I really started to look at holistic health. Like I say, Socrates inspired me. I saw Dr. Brian Clement at the Hippocrates Clinic in Florida before it was closed down. And I saw that they were healing people of all sorts of cancer, sickness, illness, diabetes, arthritis. All sorts of problems have been healed and fixed and changed in everybody's life. All sickness, illness, and disease can be removed from the body, but not through the proteins, carbs, and fats idea, and this idea where you go into the gym and you rip your body apart, or you run more, you run faster, you run more miles. It's not about doing more. It's about coming into balance. It's coming into holistic balance, balance between the two sides of you, the two energies within you. And I started to look at, natural health, holistic health. I talk about physical, mental, and emotional health, or physical, mental, and spiritual health. We kind of talk about this triangle, physical, mental, emotional. And, it's kind of like there's three parts, but that's kind of a little bit misunderstanding, a little bit of a misunderstanding in mind, because there's actually kind of two sides to the self. There's like a physical self and an etheric self, or a feminine self, a masculine and a feminine self, like a left and a right brain, like 23 chromosomes from dad and 23 chromosomes from mom. Like half of me is physical and half of me is emotional, or etheric, or energy, or love. And that there's one part that is neutral. One is plus, one is minus, and one is neutral. And the neutral being the mind. The mind can be on either side, the masculine or the feminine. And this is what it is that most of us have been skewed mentally to either focus only on on the masculine, or focus only on the feminine. And it doesn't necessarily mean that this is man or woman, but some women are skewed to the masculine mind, and some men are skewed to the feminine mind. So it's not really sexual energy, but this is internal energy. It's an understanding of the two sides of the self. I want to tell you that truly it's like physical and mental is like my brain and my body. Like my brain is physical and my body is physical. And then the emotional body, the feminine side, is like the emotional and the spiritual side. These are two sides of the same coin. Like spiritual and emotional are two sides of the same coin. Physical and mental are two sides of the same coin. One is the masculine, one is the feminine, two sides of ourself. The brain is the neutral that dictates where the power or the control lies, in the masculine or the feminine. So really, health is a change of mind. Health is a balance of the two sides of ourself. So, I applied this two sides to myself, to all aspects of myself in my life. I started to apply it to my physical, rather than going into the gym and tearing my body apart like I always did. I started to take a more natural approach to my health. I started to move my body, but not in a way that annihilated my body, in a way that just sort of stimulated my body, my hormones, my brain neurotransmitters, my energy, that just really kind of got me in the right energetic state. And I started to change my understanding of food. In particular, I really moved from this protein understanding of nutrition. And that's really what I really wanted to talk about today. But I really wanted to give you some little bit of a background into a deeper understanding of holistic health and the science of holistic health, because a lot of the time people think that holistic health is just woo-woo stuff. Truly, it's the true, authentic science. It's a simple science, but it is the true science. Just moving into this one idea that I really want to do a deep dive into today. I want to do a deep dive into this understanding of protein. This idea of protein is so misunderstood, and it's such a problem for people's health. I tell you truly, protein is, although it's kind of coined as like the foundation of nutrition, like that really idea is 450 years old, and they're still telling it today like it's the truth. It's not the truth. Protein is not the end all and be all of our health. If you really think about it and use your mind logically and think about protein, if you really look at it, protein is a chain of amino acids. Truly, when I eat the protein, I have to digest it down into its individual amino acid parts. It's truly the amino acid that the body needs. It's not protein at all. Actually, if you look at the apple, you'll see that although it contains no protein, it contains all of the amino acids. Like the fruits and vegetables contain all of the amino acids, but we're so brainwashed into this idea of protein, which has been sold to us over the last 450 years, that we can't see that we get our protein through our amino acid from our fruits and our vegetables. And this is what I do, is I encourage people to move to more fruits and vegetables. Going further from the protein down to the amino acid level, I just want to talk a little bit more about the amino acid. Like if you really inspect the amino acid and you take a look at what the amino acid is made of, you really start to see how the illusion of nutrition really falls apart. If you look at the amino acid, you'll see that the amino acid is truly, it's made up of carbon, which we get from our fruits. It's made up of oxygen, which we get in our breath, and we also get in the water, H2O, 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. The amino acid is also made up of hydrogen. Hydrogen comes from the light of the sun. Hydrogen is in the water, H2O. Like truly, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, that's fruit, oxygen, and water. This is what the body needs. The only ingredient that's up there that's not, I haven't said yet, is nitrogen. The N, the nitrogen, 70% of the air is nitrogen, truly, in the breath. In every breath you take, you are taking in the building blocks to nurture your protein. I want to tell you that this idea of protein is so misunderstood. They tell you that the cow is the best source of protein and that we need to eat this red meat protein because it's more biologically available for the body. It's a better source of protein, grass-fed cows. But think about that for a second. The cow made that protein from grass. How does that make sense? Just think about that for a second. If the cow made the most ideal protein inside of itself from eating grass, well, then how come we need to eat the cow in order to make the ideal or get the ideal protein? This is just a misunderstanding of reality. The truth is that we don't get our nutrition or our sustenance from food at all, that we've just become addicted to the food. Like we need to kind of let go of the food a little bit. It's fasting that's going to restore our health. It's fasting that's going to cleanse our body and help our body to eliminate the waste, emotional waste, physical waste, mental waste. It's fasting that's going to allow that to happen. It's cleansing with fruits and vegetables, juice cleansing and fruit cleansing that's going to allow us to eliminate and get ourselves back to what is true and real, is that we are nurtured and supported, and we grow and we heal from every breath that we take. And this happens by what we're thinking about in our mind. With every breath that we take, we are creating for ourselves. Each inhale and exhale is an interaction with our moment. And in this moment, we are creating what we are thinking in our mind. And if we're thinking lack and limitation and worry and fear, then that's what we're creating. And if we're thinking love and kindness and health and joy and happiness and prosperity and more for our lives, if that's what we're thinking about, if we're getting excited and hopeful about our life, then we're creating positively. And if we are hopeless and down and worried about our weight or worried about the pain and not sure about what's wrong with us and thinking about what's wrong with us and what's wrong with our food and what's wrong with our relationships and what's wrong, if this is how we're thinking, then this is what we're creating. That really we can change our life, but really it requires a change of mind, a little bit of different understanding. I tell you, I changed my life by focusing on thoughts and words and different things than what everybody else is thinking, saying, and doing. I kind of closed myself off to the outside world, and I really tuned into myself every single day. I made a commitment and devotion to myself, to my movement, to my breath, not ripping myself, but moving and breathing every day and thinking and speaking in a way that was empowering for myself. So I was creating an empowering vision in my mind while I breathe. This is the key to changing your life. Lovely friends, I've got to run to my next one, but I'm glad I got on today to just share a little bit of information about the protein myth. I'll be back again. I'm Coach John, the Pranic scientist, sharing some information about health and wellness. And I look forward to speaking with you again. Love you. Have yourself a super awesome, terrific day.
Hey, John.
Hey there.
Where is everybody, John?
Tim's here. Paul's in the back.
Super. Boys in the house, girls on the Zoom.
Yes. I don't know what's wrong with my Zoom today. Something's stuck on it. I can't seem to get it off. I'm sort of kind of trying to fix it, but I can't seem to get it. So I'm here to try to get a workout here for you, but I'm sort of jammed with something a little bit. Want to get ourselves going. Let's get ourselves going here. Just physically get ourselves going. Not sure my recording is stuck on for some reason. Just getting myself going here, a little bit of physical movement, just getting myself moving. I'll turn my clock on, trying to get myself going over here. And then bending over and coming up, over and up.
Oh, crud.
And dropping myself down into a plank position, just holding myself in a plank here, just working on my plank, just working on my carrying my body weight for today.
Oh, shit.
Coming up from there, I'm coming up to bending over and stretching out my hamstrings, just letting go through the back of my leg. Just letting go through my hamstrings and my back. Lifting one leg, lifting the other leg. Just stretching out my legs. Getting myself back up here onto my feet. And I'm working on my side to side action. Working on my hips. Working on my thighs, getting my heart pumping for the day. Just working on my movement here.